Do they look too good to be true? Does the skin look like porcelain in a really fake and artificial way? Question those things. Don't take them for gospel. So just buyer beware. Be aware that, the content that you see on social media and on the internet might not be truthful.
You're listening to Just a Pinch podcast with Injector Kristin. Join me and industry experts as we discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly of the aesthetics, wellness, and fitness industries.
All right, guys, welcome back to this week's episode of Just a Pinch podcast. You are here with me today for a solo episode, Injector Kristin. Today's a comfy, cozy episode. As you can see, it's a snow day. I think that Ethos is probably one of the only med spa practices open. I think everybody else closed, and I got here stupid early and said, why not? So here we are. Had some patients trudging through the snow and the rain and all of the above precipitation, and we're here, but we've got a little downtime. So I was thinking about social media today, and I thought that it was going to be a good little topic that we could hop on and chit chat about. So let's talk about social media in aesthetics. So first and foremost, it's a tough one, right? It's a tough one because we all have social media of some sort, whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is. Just about everybody is on some sort of platform. And I like it for when it's my own personal stuff and I can go on at my leisure and just peruse memes and have a giggle and move on and not have to spend any kind of real amount of time on social media because I gotta live my life, man. But now here we are as aesthetic medicine providers. And basically, if you don't have a social media account, specifically Instagram, you're really just kind of left out in the cold. It's pretty much mandatory at this point that you have social media, and Facebook ain't gonna cut it. You basically need Instagram. I think TikTok is like so. I mean, I do not do an aesthetic TikTok. I just don't. I don't have the bandwidth for that, honestly. But Instagram is pretty much mandatory for our industry at this point. And I don't like that. I understand it. I 100% get it, but you don't have to make me like it. And I don't like it. I don't like that so much of our integrity as healthcare providers, because whether you like it or not, med spas and aesthetic medicine is still medicine. That we're honestly not taken as seriously, and I don't think that our industry takes itself as seriously as it should because of social media. I know other specialties are also on Instagram and have their little accounts, but that is not what makes or break a cardiology practice or a general surgeon or a primary care. Their social media, I'd be willing to bet, has nothing to do with their personal success in their business in medicine. Whereas in aesthetic medicine, your social media is so freaking important. And I hate that. You could be a world-class, top-notch aesthetic medicine provider, give phenomenal injectable results, great laser treatments and energy devices, transform people's lives. And if you aren't on social media, you're only marketing that to your very, very local community. Maybe, if people can even find that out. And then it's just word of mouth. We rely so much on social media for our marketing that unfortunately a lot of providers that are really truly phenomenal and great at what they do don't get the visibility that they should because they just either don't put in the effort with social media or don't have those resources. And then there's a huge, and I'm going to call it a pandemic because this is worldwide, of aesthetic medicine providers and med spa practices, and aesthetic practices, even plastic surgeons, I mean, all of it, that truly do not deserve the clout and the following that they have. And we're going to go over why that is. So you can be a great provider and not have great marketing. And you can also be a relatively shitty provider and have killer marketing. I have seen on social media practices, particularly in Florida, who have, if you were to go onto their social media account, have, $250,000 to 500,000 followers, sometimes even more. And the person behind this practice isn't even legally licensed to inject. Like, do you see what I'm saying here? I mean, it's all bullshit. It's bullshit. Social media, if you can take anything from this, social media is bullshit. It really is. And you have to be so careful about what you consume and what you take seriously. You cannot go on a practice's social media and think that everything that you see is legitimate. The before and after pictures are legit. Patient reviews, that even that the work that they're posting is even theirs. I mean, there's countless episodes of somebody perusing social media and being like, wait a minute, that's my work. That's my patient. That's literally my before and after on somebody else from across the world or across the country's social media page. So there is stealing of other people's work. People will go onto social or onto websites, steal people's before and afters, Photoshop out watermarks, put their own name on things. I mean, it's crazy. And I've seen it firsthand. Credit not being given where credit's due. If I share somebody's post that is obviously not mine, that has work because I'm appreciating, I'm saying, hey, look at this amazing thing, this content. I always make sure that the person whose post that I'm posting, that their name shows up in it, or I'll tag them in it if it's not obvious. You need to give credit where credit's due. But so there are stolen before and after. So the provider that you think that you're scoping out on social media to go see may be posting work that isn't even theirs, that they didn't even do. Okay. There's a lot of photoshopping out there too. This happens with plastic surgery, with aesthetic injectables. I mean, everything. This applies to literally everything. Dermatology, plastic surgery, med spas, all of it. Okay. So when I'm talking about this, I mean it blanketly with all of that. There's photoshopping being done. I struggle with the filter thing a little bit because I can understand, if you're about to post a before and after some lips that you did and somebody's got, their skin is just looking a little funky around their mouth from inflammation and cleaning or acne or like some chin hairs or a little, upper lip hairs. And you want to smooth that out for them because they've given you permission to post it, but they want to feel good about themselves. Throwing on just a little swipe to the left of a Paris filter to smooth out their skin. It's still technically misleading. You're still technically putting out false advertising or a retouched photo. But that, I think, is like on the lesser amount of the evil that can be done here with editing. There are people that will straight up send their photos into Photoshop and have a graphic designer literally alter them. They're results that cannot be achieved or they did not achieve. They're falsifying their results. So now we've got stolen results. We have Photoshopped results. Let's see, what else do we have? Just plain old marketing, okay? With marketing, it's not easy to grow organically. I will say that a majority of real injectors that are trying to do things the right way are growing organically and are just putting out their best work, trying to find what works with the algorithm the best that they can. And, most of us have anywhere from, a couple hundred to 1,000 followers to a couple thousand followers. Typically, under 10,000 is what we're mostly going to see, probably even under 5,000. And when you see accounts, and this goes for everything, not just aesthetics, but just social media in general, like keep this in mind. If you see an account and they have, tens of thousands of followers, hundreds of thousands of followers, millions of followers, but their social media engagement doesn't match. It means those followers were purchased. It means they're bots. It means they're not real people. And that's buyer beware. You know, that's their marketing tactic. That's what they're trying to use for marketing. So they're trying to come across as more socially popular than they really are. If you see somebody with 500,000 followers and they have about 7 likes and 2 comments, or if all of the comments are all bots and they're not real people, it's not real engagement, I mean, that's all a red flag as well. It's not good. Technically, the algorithm doesn't like that either. And if you get kind of caught doing that, I think Meta can suspend your account, boot your account, lock you out, all sorts of stuff. So yeah, so there's bots, there's fake followers, there's fake engagement. Now, another thing that's on social media, and I will 100% admit that years ago, I tried one of these out for a very short amount of time. I think I did it for a month, and then I was like, this is not it. Are engagement groups. And I don't know what other people's opinions are on social media engagement groups, but this is how they go, okay? And to me, they're also quite obvious when I see them with other people. So a social media engagement group, they're either free or I'm sure you can pay to get into them too. And they're groups of typically like-minded industry, similar industry groups of people. So for example, the one that I was a part of they were all different medical aesthetics practices or providers. And you had a group message on Instagram, and whenever you would put up a post, you would post as usual, and then you would use a special hashtag that your group would come up with. So that way, if they needed to search for all of it, they could search that hashtag and all of your posts would come up. Or what most people did was, oh man, I lost my curtain. Oh well, so be it, so is life. As we move on. Another thing you would do is you would then take your post. So I post into my feed, and then I take that and I send it to the group message. And now everybody can click on that post, and everybody is supposed to like it and comment on it. And so you do that for everybody in the group, and it's supposed to help your social media engagement. Now, is this technically organic? Yes, they are real people. They are real people that you are communicating with. They're engaging with it. But again, it just doesn't feel good to me because you'll see the same people commenting the same BS on every single of each other's posts. So like, to me, it's just like super obvious whenever, people are working in these engagement groups. And that's my opinion. I'm sure plenty of people look at engagement groups and think they're super helpful and they love them, blah, blah, blah. And to each your own, do what you want. But this is just kind of my beef with social media, is that we are being arm twisted into having to do these things, that we are being convinced that we need to put in all this extra time and spend all this time out of our life to interact with different accounts on social media, all in hopes of getting more people driving to our accounts. And we're spending so much of our lives on our phones, as if we don't spend enough time. So I struggle with that. I really do. And the thing that, and I've had a lot of conversations with other injectors about this, is that you see a lot of accounts, like the undeserved, this sounds petty. I'm not trying to be petty with it, but undeserving accounts getting all of this attention and engagement, making them feel inflated, that they are better than what they are. And it's frustrating because some of the best injectors that I know, the best ones, the ones that I would love to learn from more than anything, that put out beautiful, realistic, natural results that aren't lying to us, have very little conservative social media followings. And those are the people that, I wish I could put up on a pedestal to be like, oh my gosh, you guys, these are it. These are the people I want speaking at conferences and putting on trainings. And I feel like a lot of speakers or KOLs, key opinion leaders, get these positions in conferences and speakers and as trainers for all of these companies, not even necessarily strictly because of their skills. They will get some of these positions and opportunities because of their social media following. They are influencers, and I don't even want to call them a key opinion leader, because a lot of their opinions I don't give a shit about. The people who I care about, I talk to and I get their opinions. A lot of KOLs are simply influencers. They are our industry influencers. So they are trying to influence other professionals to buy certain products, to inject certain ways, to bring in certain lines. You're just an influencer. And that doesn't necessarily make you qualified and adept to be standing up on a stage trying to teach people, in this very niche part of medicine. Because let's not forget, this is medicine. What we are doing is medicine. It needs to be taken seriously. And this is why aesthetic medicine can sometimes have such a weird reputation, and other areas of medicine can look at us like we're just, don't take them seriously. And what we do is serious, and we can hurt people. We can change their lives for the better or for the worse. And you have people that are just influencers based on their number of followers on social media, and it's just, none of it makes sense to me in that sense. I wish that we could, as an industry, practice with a lot more integrity that didn't include social media. And I understand that we can't get there right now because it's already broken. It's already broken. We've already reached the point where you have to have a social media presence. You have to be posting every single day. You have to be doing stories. It's like, not only are you a medical provider, like I'm not just a PA now, but now I have to basically get a second degree in social media marketing and content creation, because I don't have the budget right now to hire somebody. And why should I have to? Why do I have to? Why do I have to consider hiring a whole nother position and to put into marketing dollars a social media manager, somebody, and a content creator, somebody that's going to be making and editing and creating content and, doing your social media marketing calendar. And I understand, I sound like a huge whiner right now. I sound like I belong in a different decade. And I get that. It's not lost on me. It's just frustrating. Honestly, it's just frustrating. That there's no other areas of medicine that do this, that have to have social media managers and content creators. It's just silly. It's silly, honestly. It really is. It's all silly. And I'm doing my best with it. It is what it is. My business isn't built on social media. We do it because we have to, literally because we have to. And sometimes you see me more present, and other times I'm less present because it's life. It's life. Social media isn't my life. I do it when I need to, and I try to put out content that's realistic and honest, and that's interesting, genuinely interesting. I'm not just going to try to put out shit that nobody wants to hear about, and if you think what I'm posting is trash, tell me that too, give me the feedback. But it's a frustrating world out there for aesthetics and social media. Instead of just focusing on the patient in the chair, now we've got to make sure our lighting is right. Not for the procedure, for the film capture of it all. It's just silly. That's all it comes down to. This is my rant. This is guess what grinds my gears today. So, not a wildly, inspirational or educational podcast episode. Literally me curled up on my chair on a snow day here at Ethos, bitching about social media. But honestly, I think it's important. I think it's important to talk about. And I know 100% I'm not the only provider out there that feels this way either. I've had a lot of conversations with people about this, and we just got to kind of band together with it, and I know who I respect. I know whose work and whose opinions I care about, who my key opinion leaders are, not industry ones, So as a patient, you're on social media. You're looking oftentimes at our social media accounts as our portfolios for what we can offer to you. And just be aware, this is kind of my buyer beware, that you need to be very informed about what you're potentially looking at and what you're not and what you're missing. You need to be looking at the quality of before and after pictures. You're looking at somebody's work for tear trough filler. That patient needs to have their head in the same exact position, be making the same expression. Their eyes need to be in the same position. The lighting needs to be the same. Nothing annoys me more than when I see a before and after of tear trough filler. The before picture, they're looking up with their eyes. They're looking up at the ceiling with their eyes. If I do that, you can give anybody a tear trough deformity. And then in the after, they're, smiling and looking ahead. You could do absolutely nothing to somebody. You could not even touch them and just take a before picture with them looking up at the ceiling and take an after picture with them looking straight ahead, 5 seconds apart, and call that a before and after. And people are like, oh my God, you're such a great injector. Be aware of that, okay? So you need to look at the quality of photography. Is the lighting the same? Is the expression the same? Is the position the same? Especially with eyes. Huge. So be aware that your before and afters that you're looking at could be stolen work. It could be Photoshopped. Do they look too good to be true? Does the skin look like porcelain in a really fake and artificial way? Question those things. Don't take them for gospel. So just buyer beware. Be aware that, the content that you see on social media and on the internet might not be truthful. You need to really do your research with things when it comes to finding, an injector to see, a med spa to go to, a plastic surgeon to go to. The best way that you can find somebody that you can trust the most is through word of mouth referrals. Ask your family, ask your friends. Those are some of the best ways to find somebody that you can trust. Looking at online reviews, hit or miss. You're going to find everything. You're going to find fantastic practices that are some of the best in the world that have bad reviews. It happens. You can't make everybody happy, and people will leave bad reviews for absolute bullshit reasons. So so is life. I think we all know that. We've seen that on restaurants before. It's no different with us. But those can sometimes be helpful too. And when you leave a business a review, try to be really specific with something, not just thumbs up, great work, thanks. Say why you're giving them that review. Give a point, something that you would want to know as a potential patient that would help you make that decision. I look at reviews as, not a way to kiss my ass and make me feel good about what I'm doing, but you're really helping other patients. You're helping each other as a community of consumers of aesthetic medicine. You're helping future patients find a reputable and trustworthy provider. So give them the details that you would want to know too. Of course, within what you're comfortable sharing, but try to give a little bit of info when it comes to that. But as you can see through all the podcast stuff here, I always kind of come down to do your research and trying to make you a better consumer and find the questions to ask. Look for the red flags. And these red flags are just, waving as fast and as hard as they can all over social media. So buyer beware. Look at all of these before and afters with a really cognizant eye. Ask questions. If it's too good to be true, it probably is false. It's probably fake. So be really careful with what you consume, and realize that everybody's really different. And you're not going to get the same result as your best friend or your neighbor. We're all individuals. We literally all are like little snowflakes, except maybe our doppelganger for whoever's out there. I feel like we all have a doppelganger or two out there, but we won't go into that. But yeah, just be realistic with your expectations, But if you have any questions regarding social media, marketing, little scams and schemes that we all see, definitely reach out and ask. And I'd love to hear your feedback on this too. So if you yourself have a great story to share about social media marketing in the aesthetic industry, I'd love to hear it, no matter what it is, whether it's hair, nails, Botox, filler, surgery, anything. Let me know. Send me a DM. Don't write me an email. Remember, I don't listen to emails, but shoot me a DM. I'd love to hear your stories, and I'll share them on a future episode here. Yeah, I think it'd be great because, man, I've got a ton, and I'm trying to be political here and not name drop or share accounts or drop too much tea. I'll just bitch from afar. But anyways, thank you so much for joining me. You can find me on social media at Injector Kristin, at Ethos Aesthetics, and at Just a Pinch Podcast. We'll see you next time.